Welcome to Goals First. I'm your host, Plutus, and this is the best podcast out there for putting your goals first. Today, we have one of the coolest guests yet. I have Jeff from TikTok, who has built a huge following teaching people how to build a following. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on today.
My pleasure.
If you could just give a little quick synopsis of who you are and what you do, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. So I am an entrepreneur in the digital marketing space. I've been doing this for about 20 years. About a little bit more than a year ago, I decided to get serious about TikTok. And now I've gotten up to like 825,000 followers or so. And it's been a crazy ride.
Yeah, for sure. I've been seeing your content when you were like, I watched your channel grow and you just exponentially just shot off because you're one of the creators, and this is very true. I'm sure you know this, obviously, that if you're delivering value, you're going to build a following, and your account is the pinnacle of delivering value because everyone's looking to grow. And so I wanted to bring you on here because the podcast is called Goals First, and a lot of people that listen, their goal is to build a following, and you're definitely one of the top experts in the field right now, especially for TikTok.
Thanks.
So if someone wants to start TikTok, if you could give three most important things to start and build a following, what would you say these three things are?
The first thing that I recommend to everybody is hop on emerging trends. Now, what I did when I hopped on TikTok, I kind of failed in the early days because I was just I was trying to do my own thing, trying to be original, but trying to be original is really, really, really hard on TikTok. So I recommend everybody hop on the emerging trends because it's a blueprint for what's actually working on that particular day. So you can just hop on there. And number two, calls to action are huge. Calls to action just remind people to follow, remind people to like and comment. I add them twice to every one of my posts pretty much, once in the video and once in the hashtag description area. So that's two. And then the third one is really focus on your visuals. Visuals are huge on TikTok. In fact, possibly even more important than the sound. Both of them are important though, but visuals, I think a lot of people lack there who are struggling to grow.
Now I know what a call to action is, but could you kind of dive into that, what a call to action is, and give some good examples?
Yeah, so a call to action is just reminding people to do something. So I have a simple formula that I recommend for everybody. Simple question mark, follow, like, and let me know. So what I'll do is I'll ask a question anybody can answer, whether they're a 12-year-old who's not even supposed to be on TikTok really, all the way to somebody who's at the upper age, something anybody can answer. So if I do a thing about business growth on TikTok, I'll be like, have you ever thought about starting a business? Right? So it's not just people who have already started a business who can answer, it's anybody, right? And they can also say no if they never have. So it's just so I ask that question, and then I say follow / like and let me know. So they can follow, they can like, they can comment. So it's it's just it's a lot and just in a few words, and I'll put it in at the end of my video and in my description.
That makes sense. And now, is TikTok your main area of expertise right now, or are you familiar with YouTube and other stuff?
Google is my number one thing. Just getting people's website higher up on Google is kind of my bread and butter. TikTok, I've started a TikTok consulting business, and I've been working with a bunch of people to help them grow their accounts faster and make money faster with TikTok. So that's kind of like a side hustle, I guess, even though it's growing, right? But it hasn't taken over the rest of my business yet, and we'll see what happens with that.
That makes sense. So are you in the SEO field or predominantly?
Yeah, so SEO. So I have I don't know, 20 to 25 clients that I'm taking care of on a monthly basis. I have a small team of 5 people, so it's not just me. But we have a decent sized business, and then TikTok is okay, well, let's have some fun, kind of.
Yeah, no, I mean you've been delivering value. When I was getting 30 views, I was watching your content, saying shit. I gotta learn from Jeff and figure out what to do. Now, one thing that I find really tricky, sometimes I want to kind of really explain something, and it's hard to do it in 15 seconds, but when I do 60 seconds, people lose interest.
Yeah.
What's the trade-off there with doing a longer 60 seconds?
It's probably a good middle ground. I have this theory that shorter videos are better for the FYP, and longer videos are better for your followers. So you can kind of use both, right? So you can do one that's gonna drive in some new audience members, and then the other one like delivers more value to your existing audience. So I recommend doing both, and just don't expect those long ones to necessarily go viral, but like your followers will love them. Because what I was hearing a lot from my existing followers, like, I wish your content was longer, but I'm sitting there making these 8 to 10 second videos, which got a lot more views. They were not satisfying my existing audience.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I know, like, when I'm on that For You page, like you said, I'll watch it, it's 10 seconds, but then someone like you, who I know has information that I want, I'll go onto your page and I'll watch every video. I'll just go through them, even at 60 seconds, it doesn't matter because I know I'm on a page where I'm going to get information that I want. So I agree with that theory. It makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
Now, things have been so weird right now with the whole cancel culture and saying the wrong thing. I think people are hating on you for saying you can get famous without dressing provocatively, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What was that drama about? You just
Yeah. So I guess my message was like, hey, I see, and I'm a father, right? I have 2 tween daughters who, I can personally see TikTok affecting them and the way they dress and stuff like that, and the way they dance. Like, man, this is, and I was like, man, if they're dealing with this, because there is a certain pressure. I don't think anybody can deny. I think for I don't even know what word to say. Women, even though if I say females, I get in trouble. If I say girls, I get in trouble. If I say chicks, I get in trouble. So I'm gonna say women, even though we're talking about all people who are adults and younger, right? I think they all feel the pressure to show more skin on TikTok, because as you scroll through the For You page, it's like, well, that's what you see going viral, right? So I think there's a certain pressure. And my message was simple. Look, here's an example of somebody who's having massive success without necessarily showing skin. And there was a lot of people who thought that I was judging people who do, and there was a lot of people who didn't like the words that I chose to use and the way that I worded it. Yeah, I could have worded it better, but my message still stands strong. So
yeah, I mean, personally, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm conservative. My personal view, I think that degeneracy is bad. I think that TikTok encourages degeneracy because it's just this, like exactly what you said. People go on the For You page and see a girl with no bra on, and then 13-year-olds twerking, and that's just a disaster waiting to happen.
I need to correct you too. Because my message is not exactly that either. So my message
no, that was
isn't.
my message. I'm not saying that's
Yeah. I just want to clarify. Like, I'm not necessarily saying you shouldn't do it, or that you know what I mean. So it's just like, look, if you're gonna do it, do you? That's fine. Of course, I don't necessarily want teens or tweens doing it, and maybe that's here or there. Definitely not tweens.
Yeah.
Teens, let's say, 16, whatever. Like, that's up to them. I think there's a certain point where it's like whatever. I'm not their parents or whatever, but like, if they want to do that, that's certainly up to them. And yeah, I don't know. So
yeah, fair enough. I think that it sounds like your message just that hey, you can blow up through offering content without showing skin, which I think is a fair.
But my message is also, you can blow up by showing skin, and that's perfectly fine if you want to do that. If that's what makes you happy, that's fine. I'm not judging. But there's also many, many ways that you don't necessarily have to do that. So that's kind of just my reminder. Look, if you're not feeling comfortable going down this path, again, which I'm not judging, there are other paths you can go down. I feel like I'm walking a tightrope.
No, fair enough.
That's it is what it is.
I'm very outspoken conservative. I'm actually libertarian, but on that topic, I just think it's bad. But I don't mean to impose my views on you. That's just my view.
Yeah, I just want to clarify my thoughts, I guess.
Absolutely. So, how long did it take you to build to where you're at? Like, what was it like? Was it a skyrocket out of nowhere? How did you get to 800,000?
I want to say it's been like slow and steady, with a couple of insane weeks and days. Like, for example, there was the one day that and I got some heat for this. I did 129 or 139 posts in a day, just to kind of prove to, because everybody was saying, "Oh, dude, 20 posts in a day is too much. It's freaking crazy." I was like, "All right, well, guess what? I'm just gonna sit here all day and make TikToks, and let's see what happens." It's like, I'll put my whole account on the line just to prove my freaking point. That's just something I did, and I ended up like having kind of a bad day. Like, my videos were getting less and less views, and then toward the end of the day, I was like, let me just start throwing stuff at the wall, see if anything sticks. And I found this little formula that worked really, really well, which is, people were saying, "Hey, I followed you and got this many followers," and I just duetted it. I did a video reply to the comment, and then that got a bunch of views, and then I did like The next day when I woke up, I think I did like 60 or 70 more of those exact things, and then I got 100,000 followers in a day. So
Wow.
that was freaking
100,000,
crazy.
100,000 from duetting people responding to
If it,
them.
because they kept saying, "Hey, I followed you and got this many followers. Hey, I followed you and got this many
So
followers."
it
So
was
I
like
was
social proof type of thing.
social proof, but it was also, probably a little bit misleading. Like, yes, they followed me and got those followers. I'm sure a few of them were lying, but I think for the most part, the people did actually gain followers because you check their account and you see they actually do have the followers they were claiming. But people were following me think they would instantaneously get those followers. Well, no, they
Right.
would, and no matter how many times I said it, it just kind of didn't matter. So I had to stop doing that because it was just too. I felt like it was just a little bit too misleading, and I was getting tired of seeing people messaging me, "Hey, I followed you. Where's my followers?" Like, dude, shut up.
Right. Right. I think it's that if they follow you and actually listen to your advice and implement your
Exactly.
advice, then it builds. It's not magic,
And of course,
But
making a separate TikTok saying that doesn't matter because like only some people see that. It's just not enough. Like they need to hear it non. It's just
yeah.
such a weird platform sometimes because you make a video saying something, it's like, well, nobody's going to see that video. They only see that original video or that other video that they're responding to. They don't care about any other video. It's like they look at one video like in a silo and they forget about everything else.
Oh yeah, that's always. I mean, I see people on TikTok. This one guy I talk to, his videos are always, "Do want to become a millionaire? Like this video, comment, and tag 3 people." And that's it. There's never a follow up. And I talk to him. I think he's great.
I mean,
But
it works.
yeah, it works. But it's just like there's never any point to it. At least your content, you're offering massive value.
Yeah. And there's the guys who do like, hey, if you want to win this iPad and these AirPods, like follow, like, and they're never gonna mail that out.
Steven Alexander. I'm not sure if
I
you.
don't want to call anybody up by name, but I have seen him do it, and it's working for him, right? He's getting
Yeah,
tons of
that's.
followers.
I've chat. He's one of the people that he liked one of my content, and we end up chatting. He's like, "Listen, this is what I do," and I'm not gonna go as far as him with like the do this, and then never follow up. But I respect him because he's doing it and it worked.
Yeah.
And, I do respect any content. Yeah, it's not. So actually, that's a good question. What's your thoughts on people that say, "Oh, people just got lucky on TikTok"?
That's funny because I was talking to somebody last night who said I got lucky. I'm like, do
No,
you
I
realize
I
how
followed you
many
for a long time. You did not get lucky. You worked hard.
do you realize how many videos I've uploaded? It's like 2,400. Like I've been uploading like 3 to 10 videos a day for like a year plus now. So it's like, yeah, maybe I got a little lucky. Just being born in the U.S. And having some opportunities and learning about tech at an early age. But like I busted my ass. Like it's kind of annoying. And it has been very slow, steady growth. Like I haven't had any kind of massive upturn other than maybe that 100,000 follower a day, and maybe a couple other magical days that just I had a video basically go viral because it just worked. So, but no, I think luck can play a role and probably does, but it's all about the hard work and the smart work and the efficient use of your time. Like for example, like people want to sit there and reply to every single comment. Well, I did that too in the early days. In fact, I was spending hours replying to every single comment. But I think my time would have been a lot better used just cranking out some better TikToks because what you're doing when you're replying to every comment is you're replying to the same thing over and over and over again with slightly different wording. It's like kind of pointless. I hate to say it. So, and yeah, you do want to reply to some comments, especially the ones with a lot of likes and stuff like that. But like replying to, Jim Bob 445 with like 0 likes, like every once in a while, sure, but like, you know, for every 10 of those that you reply to, you can make a whole nother post, that could meet tens of thousands of people,
Right. And now, do
if
you think
not more.
is it more, let's say someone like me, right? I could spend an hour using my professional camera to shoot a 6-second video of me acting out a thing, or I could, for 30 seconds, just hold my phone up and me talking directly into it. What do you think's better there? Should I put in the effort? Should I just.
Yeah, so effort doesn't matter as much as people think it does. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just about attention. So if you pick up the phone and say something really, really interesting, yeah, it'll be more successful than like something that takes a whole lot of effort and just isn't interesting. So it's all about grabbing people's attention.
Right. I know. I think it's something like the first 2 to 3 seconds to captivate somebody from the watch your video, right?
Yeah, so I have what I recommend is people just have a spicy hook. Just say something that people just can't wipe away from. And some examples, and one of them was, I might get fired for saying this, but, and then whatever. And then the next day, somebody sent me a message, hey, I used it, and I got 150,000 views. And he's like, I might get fired for saying this, but here's some McDonald's secrets that you might not know. It's like, perfect. Or it can be like, hey, my wife might divorce me for saying this. Or you could say something like, I promised, I promised my late uncle I would never say this. Just something. You don't necessarily have to lie either. I'm just kind of giving some extreme examples, or something like, hey, I never thought I'd say this to TikTok, but like real stuff. Like you can be real about it too. You don't have to lie or make something up, but just have the beginning be spicy, and it doesn't have to be with words either. It can be like with body language or something like that, like dances. Like there's really no words, but there's a lot of body language. Let's just take the chicks who show their body, right? They might show like part of their body in a certain way, like, oh, they're going to show more kind of thing. Like, so it doesn't always have to be words. Um, yeah, get their attention. The first few seconds is huge. It's huge, and then as soon as you deliver on that at the very end, end the video, because nobody wants to let it drag on. So like, deliver on that hook and then end the video instantly.
Right, that makes sense. And I heard so much conflicting stuff on hashtags. What's your current knowledge on hashtags?
Hashtags do matter, but I think a lot of people put too much, way too much emphasis on them. So what I'll do right now, and what I recommend for everybody is, um, put your call to action before the hashtag, because if TikTok is like Google, where they kind of read left to right, top to bottom, just like we read, I think the hashtags, at the end of the day, the whole point is to show it to the right people on the FYP. Not necessarily because people really don't scroll through hashtags looking for content. Maybe very few, but probably almost nobody. So what I recommend, do like some pretty awesomely relative hashtags that really define or describe what the content is about, and then um, just use like one to three, or none. You don't have to have a hashtag. What's more important is engagement. So what I'll do is I'll tell people, put your call to action and then put your hashtags after your call to action, because at the end of the day, engagement is way more important than there's hashtags. You definitely don't need hashtags to go viral. I've done it many, many times. But hashtags do help the algorithm kind of point it in the right direction. So it does give you a little bit of a boost.
When you say call to action, you're saying we should be typing a call to action out in addition to saying the call to action?
I put it in text bubble. Typically, I'll put it in text bubble. Not always, but usually text bubbles at the end of my video, the last 3 seconds of the video. If it makes sense, I'm not going to force it. If it feels like I'm forcing it, I'll just put it in the description. But call to action is going to get people to comment. They're going to get them to like and follow, which is going to show the video to more and more people, which is more important than your hashtags. Like
No,
the
but
hash.
I'm trying to understand. You're saying that the TikTok is reading your description and using that on how it distributes the video?
It probably is, but the real reason we do the call to action is to get more engagement. So we want the likes, we want the comments, we want the watch time, because
No, no,
when
no.
people are,
I know that the purpose of the call to action. I guess I'm just confused on the value of typing it out. And you said instead of hashtag, what matters more is what you're saying, title and the description or whatever. Does that implement how the video is distributed, where the hashtags would be? It's physically typing out a title or a call to action.
yeah, because at the end of the day, engagement is more important than hashtags, because the hashtags kind of point the algorithm in the right direction. So the engagement just, the hashtags kind of don't matter if the engagement isn't there. So we have to make sure the engagement is there. So once the engagement is there, it's gonna send it to more and more people who have engaged with those types of hashtags in the past. So
Okay.
just, is that starting to make more sense, I guess?
I guess. I mean, it does. I've heard such conflicting like that. The hashtags, I kind of understand what you're saying, and obviously, call to action is very valuable. I'm like, let's say, let me give you an example. Let's say I'm doing a business about or a video on how to get more girls. Do you think if I write in my description how to get more girls, the algorithm's going to know to distribute that video to people that watch dating channels, for example? Not typing it in the video, but typing it where the hashtags will be typed out.
Yeah, probably a little bit of a boost.
Okay.
But I would rather see you do something like, let's just say you're giving 3 methods on how to get girls in the video. I would say, have you tried any of these? Question mark, follow, like, and let me know. As opposed to putting how to get girls, because adding how to get girls when it's already in the video kind of doesn't add anything else to it. It's kind of repetitive, so I'd rather see you put just go right into your question. So to ensure the fact that people see the question because they only, people don't necessarily read the whole entire thing. So, but I hear what you're saying. You're kind of looking at it from more of a algorithmic keyword type of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
and
SEO.
yeah, SEO, yeah, it probably does matter, but I doubt it matters as much as getting that engagement, right? So I would focus on engagement over everything else. Focus on attention and engagement over everything else. The keywords, the hashtags, any kind of trickery is less important. Not to say that like putting in phrasing is trickery, but like people's attention at the end of the day is the most important thing. So I say if people focus 80% of their efforts on attention and watch time,
Mhm.
they'll be fine, and everything else is just icing on the cake.
Okay, that makes sense. Now you said one day you tried posting all day and it didn't really work that well. Do you think posting too much or frequently actually negatively affects you?
Yeah, but I really didn't start to see the effects until I got past the 20-ish mark. It was just all the videos were kind of doing okay, and then I started posting a crazy amount, and I noticed, man, these are getting really horrible views, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was way, way below average for everyone. And they kind of wouldn't have that period where they just kind of ballooned up a little bit. They just kind of stayed low.
Right. So I
Um,
don't have to worry about if I'm doing like knocking out 3 in an hour. Yeah, sometimes I'm worried if I do one, I can't have to wait an hour to do my second one.
yeah, yeah. I don't really know for sure. Like I've been doing three in an hour, and having some success. I've been doing three in an hour, not having success. I think it really does all depend on your video. And you'll also notice this too. If you're doing a ton of posts in a day or whatever, or in an hour, you'll notice, oh man, this one post is doing way better than the rest. And it won't necessarily be the first, and it won't necessarily be the last in most cases. Sometimes it will. But for me, it was always one around the middle somewhere. It's like, oh well, that was just a better video in terms of watch time and engagement. Um, so you watch those things, and yeah, if you would have posted that video on its own, it probably would have got a lot more views. But you can kind of compare all those 5 or 6 that you posted in that hour and just be like, oh, well, this one's a front runner, and that's probably a good reason for that because it was just a good video in terms of engagement.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's weird on TikTok, man. Sometimes it seems like it's the best videos they're making. Sometimes it just seems like it is luck, and sometimes the right person comments and they get a few likes, it just kind of skyrockets.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you look at the analytics for those posts, you'll see, oh, well, the watch time was a little bit higher than these other ones, like the percentage of watch time to the percentage of the length of the video. In most cases, the watch time will just be better on those. And the reason for that, who knows? Who really, really knows? But for whatever reason, it just kept people's attention
It's true. I mean,
in
on
most
your
cases.
content, what do you say you average? Usually like short videos? You do more 15-second, 60-second, or what's your?
Um, it just kind of depends, man. I've had a lot of success with these 60-second videos lately that are very, very designed to keep people watching to the end, like very, very calculated. I don't know if you've seen them. Like, I bet you can't watch this to the end. I think I got like
That works. Okay.
7 million views. That's
Yeah,
kind of like a
I
that's
got
kind of like
that.
a test. Like, this video is impossible to watch. You can't do it.
You
You
can't
can't
do
do
it.
it.
Right?
Like whatever. I don't know if you saw it, but it got crazy amounts of views and followers too. It was really good at generating followers. But and then I kind of made a little series. I think I did 3 or 4 more, and I got a few more in the works.
Sounds
Um,
like the reverse psychology. Tell them you can't do this.
exactly, exactly. Especially for the middle schoolers of TikTok who are in that kind of rebellious stage, and they want to just it was just old dork. I'll show him.
All right, listen, if it works, it works, man.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just kind of fun, right? And then they have a good time with it, and they're all duetting it. I'll show him. Watch this. I'll watch this all the way to the end. And then I did one. It was like no one has ever watched this video to the end without laughing, and so they're all duetting like with a stone face. Because
Oh
I said,
yeah, those
because
are great.
I complimented them at the end. I was like, if you watch this video to the end without laughing, then you are a stone-faced assassin. They're like, oh my God, I'm a stone-faced. I got to show the world that I'm a stone-faced assassin. And that was kind of the whole idea, like make them feel great about passing the test.
Stroking the ego, man.
Exactly.
Effective. So,
Man.
any other tips you would give to someone?
I mean that's really the biggest stuff that people are getting wrong. And I think one that we haven't talked about a whole lot, I think we touched on earlier, is just like the visuals. Like a lot of people are struggling to grow and they're asking me for help. And I look at their account and it looks like it was recorded on like a, like a Android from 2008 or something. It's just horrible video quality. And I'm just like, how do you tell someone who looks like they can't afford a new phone that, like that's the, you know what I mean? Like, because some of these people look like they, they're kind of struggling, so it's just like, you know, the
Listen,
truth is you need an iPhone, honestly. I mean, the iPhone just looks great.
I'll say for the people struggling, I get it, but also, spend a week mowing lawns, going door to door, offering some kind of service, you'll get the money to go buy an
True.
iPhone.
True.
There's always a way.
Yeah, especially with the way they're doing pricing for phones nowadays with the monthly payments with no interest and stuff like that. So there should be a way to get it done. Um, and now, a lot of times lighting can make a bad camera look pretty good too. So it's like they're sitting there in a dark room with a terrible camera. Nobody's gonna vibe with that unless you're really saying something crazy or doing something crazy.
Do you do yours on a cell phone or are you using an actual camera?
I just use my front-facing camera on my iPhone. I got the Pro Max, the 12, but I was having just as much success on the 8. So it's like I think I recorded that. You can't watch this to the end on the iPhone 8 that I borrowed from my son when I rolled over mine in my truck because it fell out of my pocket when I was
And you
cutting.
ran over in the truck.
Yeah, 'cause I was cutting the grass and my iPhone 10 fell out of my pocket and I rolled. I was like, "Where is it?" I look on the ground. I'm like, "Oh no." Sucked.
One of those days.
Yeah, sucked. So I
Feel
had to
that.
borrow my son's iPhone 8, which was better than nothing. But I mean, and I also want to prove to people, look, you don't need this high-end phone. You should have probably a decent phone, but you don't need the absolute latest phone there is.
Right, lighting matters. I mean, I see a lot of the times people a video that will pop up is someone's holding a mirror in a mirror, holding some weird item.
Yeah,
It's just like what's going on here. I think
yeah. There's your hook. That's a hook.
the hook, yeah, the hook.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's one of the strength. Hooks matter.
the hook and just the visual interest, like kind of a little bit of both in that particular example. All right, man. I gotta run. One more question before we go, or
I think I covered everything I wanted to ask you.
awesome.
You answered everything. But hey, you want to shout out your TikTok and your business for
Yep.
SEO?
So it's at Jeff Couret. That's JEFFCOURET on TikTok. If you're interested in having me help you grow your own TikTok, I offer paid consulting to give you advice and give you feedback. And if you're interested in SEO to get your website higher up on Google for organic SEO, not pay per click, just organic SEO, it's seoak.co. That's my website, SEOak, like the oak tree, SEOak.co.
Awesome, Jeff. I actually have a startup, so I'm gonna hit you up after this. Maybe
Awesome.
schedule a meeting because I have an
Sounds
app
good.
going on. I could use your help maybe.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
Guys, go follow him, like and subscribe. And thank you so much, Jeff.
My pleasure. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.